Hidden forever formless within the mists of time is the origin of the peerless warrior known only as the Immortal. Cursed to serve a never-ending nightmare parade of corrupt masters, the ancient being moved through time's waters, alternately performing whatever task he had been assigned, and treading the endless paths of afterlife, cradled within the depths of the monolithic structure that was the mountain apex, his only refuge from the wearying world. Awakened by the evil, power-mad sorceress queen known as the matriarch, through cowards' cajoling, false walls, bloody battle, and, rarest of all, regret, he brought her 4 sons before her, allowing the malevolent matriarch's rise to ultimate power as she returned him to apex, the bitter taste of betrayal on his tongue, all that remained of the fruitless spark of hope he had allowed to flare in his old, tired heart as he slept once more. Awakened only to find himself far from his mountain refuge, suspended in the abyss within an unknown ship, he is tasked with the final redemption, or destruction, of the matriarch by her grandson, promised once again the final freedom denied him by the evil queen. Triumphant after a pursuit spanning light years, and a final cataclysmic confrontation to make the heavens themselves pause in consideration, the Immortal finds the grandson mortally wounded, an unfortunate casualty of the apocalyptic eradication. Before passing beyond, leaving the Immortal to move on alone once more, he begs the ancient being to transcend his past and exist as a hero, to carry the flame and inspire hope where there is none. But time itself was a foe of an entirely different magnitude, attacking not the body of the Immortal, but the mind, heart, and hope, and with the passage of time as the endless winds erode the mightiest mountain, a new curse arose, watching those he loved and cared for succumb to age and infirmity, as he never would. And so, in the depths of time he retreated, leaving history behind, to become legend and finally myth. Until the appearance of the first children, immensely powerful beings of unknown origin, suggestive of ancient myths telling of the conflict between an ageless warrior and a mad sorceress. Heroes and villains appear throughout time's course, continuing the ancient war of their forebears, often unknown to the combatants, waging bloody, instinctively hate-filled brutality upon one another, wielding wondrous and unspeakable abilities that faded gradually as time made its own laughing changes to the weft and weave of the pattern. Until you, the child of the Immortal, since titled the Sunborne. The first in generations within the confederation to show genuine promise, wielding the dwindling power of the Immortal, you sit upon a pedestal above the masses in all your shining glory. That life, however, is a lie. You are a slave, your existence primarily defined by the walls of your cell and the cheers of the arena, taking place almost entirely within the bounds of the sprawling complex called the Central Trade Authority. The primary hub of power within the mighty trade confederacy, founded eons ago by the mysterious and charismatic figure known as the tradesman, the beautiful, ageless Aval of immense mental power titled the Seer, and the forces of the original 12 Endurant, some of whom persist to the current day as guardians and figures of wide renown. The massive construction at once soars into the skies above the surrounding cityscape and descends into unknown depths below, resembling nothing if not a mountain, reminiscent of old stories whispering of swords and sorcery. Discovered as an infant during routine genetic cataloging, you were found to be a child of the Immortal and taken from the parents you know only as a memory of warmth and the sweet sound of a softly singing voice. As much for their safety as your own, you have been reminded repeatedly by General Elena Gejal, leader of the Interior Guard responsible for the authority itself and your personal overseer. A cold, ambitious woman of poisonous beauty, her face capable of shifting from deceptively charming smiles to derisive sneers in an instant, she wields control of you like a barbed multi-tailed whip, enforcing her brutal methods of punishment assisted by like-minded members of the Guard. Raised largely in isolation with at best indifferent caregivers, you spent your childhood alternating between progressively more difficult physical trials and lessons provided by subconsciously unnerving holographic AI tutors within the mysterious landscape of the Holonet, a phenomenon in existence long before, and not fully understood by, the peoples that now used it. This was your life before the appearance of Dr. Arandir Putarchich, your physician, occasional tutor, and eventual friend. A kindly, perpetually weary-seeming man, whose soft brown eyes peered out from his lined, tired face beneath its shock of wild graying brown hair resembling a bird's nest. He was one of the first to show you genuine kindness and, unlike the rare sympathetic members of the guard, could not be removed from his position by General Gejal. Hesitant and deeply suspicious by nature, you held him and his attempts at gaining your friendship and trust at arm's length for years, before the realization came, bit by bit over time, that he truly was trying to help you, and your walls came down, brick by brick, giving you hope that your world was not simply unrelieved banality broken by pain. Thrust into the arena on your 18th birthday under the title of the Sunborne, you have since established yourself as a competent brawler and wielder of the elements, your name joining the ranks of champions both past and present as your blood, sweat and tears join theirs on the hot sands of the Central Colosseum, one of 3 spread across the bounds of the Confederacy. Under the bright glow of the arena lights and the adoration of the thousands projected into their seats as holograms, you fight for survival and the entertainment of the masses with the knowledge that you are relatively safe from death, if not harm. After the final fan disappears from the stands and the lights are dimmed on the hungry, unnatural stone of the arena, however, different, darker trials occur, broadcast along private networks ceaselessly patrolled by artificial intelligences on constant guard for any intrusions, which are met with fatal response. Within the arena, lopsided as the events may sometimes be, there exists a certain species of honor and respect, but when the masses depart, the 1% slide stealthily from the opulent darkness unknown to the common filth they stand upon the shoulders of to witness and wager upon bloody and brutal bouts held in seclusion, where you compete against your fellow champions and promising new gladiators from across the Confederacy in vicious, no-holds-barred, to the death contests, where credits enough to purchase worlds change hands. Some years after your entry into the arena, a new technology was invented, or perhaps discovered, your people being more akin to salvages than innovators, living on the remnants of older, largely unknown civilizations that once spanned the galaxy. The archaic machine, a relic of a bygone era yet eons beyond the technology currently possessed by your people, allowed for viewing and cataloging of genetic memory, providing new direct insights into the history of the Confederacy viewed through the senses of those that had directly experienced it, reminiscent of the virtual realities harbored within the HoloNet. Upon further testing and experimentation, however, a related but separate function was discovered, and your people began to harness the ability to create personality constructs using collected genetic material, and the process of joining said constructs to the mental landscapes of test subjects, a process known as infusion. Through this process, you were infused with the personality construct of your ancient forebear, the Immortal, to assist in training your still-growing power, much to the annoyance of General Gejal, who was no longer permitted her former treatment of you in light of your new condition and the possibility of irreparable mental damage to both yourself and the engram. Undergoing the process during your 23rd year, you have grown exponentially stronger in the time since, with some even whispering you may one day be on par with your mythic ancestor, riding the winds of time on the legends you may spawn.